Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today I'm excited to say that Rainbow Six Siege is getting a massive patch update that is literally going to change the way that we play the game. The one addition that I was not expecting is that the attacking team is now going to have access to Claymores. You might be thinking, wait a second, the attacking side gets access to this gadget? That seems more appropriate for the defensive side. Well, this is now going to be our way of countering roamers. Roaming around on defense is the meta right now. Everyone's using a fast operator with C4, a really good weapon, and they're roaming around trying to catch the attacking team by surprise. That's just the way that the game plays out right now. This might change with this update. The way that the Claymore works is that you can place it down anywhere, and the only indication that it's there are these red little wires that stick out. If a defender passes through the wires, it blows up, they die, and you get a nice kill on the attacking team. And so if you've ever been in a situation where you're trying to breach onto the objective room, but there's too many angles for you to cover by yourself, the Claymore is now going to be your best friend. It's hard to say how much of an impact this is going to have on the way that we play Rainbow Six Siege, but I have a feeling that it's going to be significant. Not only is this going to be a deterrent to roam around the map, if you are roaming, this is going to be something they have to watch out for, but it's also going to give you more of an incentive to play the highly defensive operators like Rook and Doc. And so all in all, I'm really excited to see what happens with this. Not everyone on offense is going to have access to the Claymore, by the way. It's only going to be for Thatcher, Twitch, Glaz, and Thermites, but I really think this is going to change things up and really affect the way that we play Rainbow Six Siege. Another adjustment that I'm thrilled to see is that Blackbeard is finally getting the nerf that he deserves. If you weren't aware before this patch, his shield could absorb 800 damage. If you ever wondered why you could never break his shield, that's the reason why. Basically, you have to go through 8 operators ever before you can get to his head, and that's not going to happen. The only way that Blackbeard is going to allow you to break his shield is if he's terrible. Like, he has to be the worst shot, and so that's the reason why you could never kill him outside of a window by breaking his shield. That is going to be changing. And so the way that he's going to work now is that he's going to have 2 shields that he can swap in and out whenever he wants, but each of them are going to have 150 health. He's still going to be very potent. He's still going to be a force to be reckoned with if you play him properly, but he's not going to be this god outside of a window anymore. If you do enough damage, you are absolutely going to be able to get that sweet center of his head and take him out with a nice headshot. Another thing I was not expecting with these patch notes is that a couple of the defending operators are now going to have access to a brand new gadget called Impactor Nades. The way they work is that they will explode on impact or after a second of throwing the gadget and basically be a nice little explosion. Ubisoft's reasoning for adding this on in is that they wanted to lessen the role of Nitrocell. They felt like there was too many operators on defense that had access to this amazing gadget. Nitrocell is probably one of the best gadgets that you can have on defense, and so they didn't want as many people using that when they were playing on that side. And so the ones that are going to have access to this are Caveira, Castle Smoke, and Rook. The thing is, though, is that it sounds like they just gave the defensive team access to even more explosive devices. Castle and Rook did not have C4 before this, and now they get this Impactor Nade. And so while I really like the idea of having less defenders using C4 and Nitrocell, it was getting a little bit ridiculous. I don't know how much of an impact, pun intended, this is going to have on Rainbow Six Siege. Another thing I was not expecting, which seems to be a theme with this patch, is that Twitch is also getting a rework with her drone. Now, we already knew a little bit about this. They teased us a video a couple of days ago, but I was not expecting it to be as good as it is. So the way it works is that not only is it going to move faster, it's going to have a 30% increase in its speed, it's going to create less sound, it's not going to have a red light on it, so it's not going to be as visible, and its dart range is going to be increased from 5 meters to 7 meters. The other big difference is that you can use this now during the preparation phase to take out any gadget or camera that you want during that time. Now, originally, I thought this wasn't going to be all that useful because if your Twitch drone died at the start and you didn't have access to that during the normal round, it could leave your team quite hindered. If you weren't able to take out a mute jammer or a bandit's battery, for example, trying to breach through a wall, you're kind of left floundering because you used your drone during the starts. Well, you get 2 shock drones now, one during the preparation phase and one that you can use whenever you want during the match itself, and you can also switch to them whenever you want. And so in general, Twitch got a big upgrade. Like, she got a massive buff, and I think you're going to see a lot more of her, mainly because her weapon is amazing. The FAMAS has a great rounds per minute, very high damage, manageable recoil, and the fact that her gadget saw a significant upgrade as well, and you get 2 of them, Yeah, you're gonna see a hell of a lot more Twitch in Rainbow Six Siege. Another one that got a buff is Doc. As we all know, Doc is a pretty good operator, but his gadget just didn't see much play because there are very few situations where you're able to revive a teammate that was put in the down but not out stage. That is also now going to be changing. Not only are you going to be able to still revive your teammates, that's still an option, but you're also going to be able to heal your teammates for 40 health a pop with the stim pistol. What also surprised me though, like I said, this is the theme, you are going to be able to overheal them for a maximum of 120 health. So let's say your Rook wants to charge into glorious combat, he wants to get on the objective because the enemy just breached on in, you can buff him to 120 health so he's got some more staying power. I did not think that this is going to be a thing. It slowly deteriorates. You're not going to be able to stay at 120 the entire time. Like, it slowly ticks away until you're at 100 health. But if you want to give your guy basically an overshield, sure, a headshot will still be able to drop them, no problem. But if you want to give them some stopping power, Doc is also going to have that option. And then we get to the new attachments that they're adding on in. The first one is the heavy barrel, which is going to increase your long range damage with the weapon, but you sacrifice recoil, so there's going to be a lot more recoil that you have to manage. I'm not so sure how powerful this is going to be or if a lot of people are going to use it because the name of the game of Rainbow Six Siege is headshots, and one of the things that you want to avoid are weapons that have a lot of recoil, and exasperating that is something that you probably don't want on your gun. And so maybe if you're using a high-powered rifle and you don't want to go for headshots and you just want to go for those long-range kills on an enemy and get those body shots, this might be a right call, but I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be all that helpful. They're also adding in a muzzle break, which is going to diminish the first shot recoil, putting an emphasis on precision. Isn't this the flash hider? I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know everything about this game, but I thought the flash hider already diminished the first shot recoil. It was all about tap firing, and then the compensator was for holding down the trigger. I don't know. Maybe the flash hider is going to be different than the muzzle break. I'm not exactly sure, but they are adding in a muzzle break, which is going to be for people that want to go for those tap fire shots. On top of that, a lot of the underused weapons are also going to be getting some loving in this update. Twitch's DMR, Buck's DMR, the light machine gun available to Fuse, the submachine gun on Frost, the MP5K, the P90, all of these guns are seeing some adjustments. If you'd like to know all the finer details, I don't want to go into the specifics because that'd make for a very, very long video. But if you want to know every single small detail that is going to be changing with these, all in all, they're all getting upgrades, and I will leave a link down below to the patch notes. And then the final thing that they're trying to address is team killing. Team killing is difficult for Ubisoft to solve because this game does have accidental team kills. Because of the way that the game works at fast-paced gameplay, you go for a headshot on an enemy, your teammate just kind of walks in front of you and you kill them. It would suck if you got punished for that. I mean, if you do it repeatedly, you probably need to watch out what you're doing, but team killing does happen and they don't want to punish those players. What they do want to punish, though, are people that are team killing at the start of a match when it's pretty obvious. And so what they're doing is that if you team kill someone at the very beginning of a round, it's going to remember that. If you do it again at the start of the next round, it's probably going to kick you, or it's going to remember it, and if you continue to do this on multiple games, it may outright ban you. Ubisoft has taken a much more firmer stance on griefing and harassment, and I'm pretty sure that this falls under this category, and you might start getting banned for doing this repeatedly. And so while it is going to be an ongoing process, I'm really glad that Ubisoft is taking some necessary steps here. In general, I am really excited about these patch notes, though. It looks solid across the board. I mean, there are a couple of questionable things here and there, but in general, I love what they're doing to the different operators. I like the gadgets that are adding on in, and I have a feeling that it's really going to change the way that we play the game. But let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think it's the worst thing ever? Do you love the addition of the Claymore? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.